Hello weebs and welcome to my Attack on Titan Collector's Guide video. I will be covering pull rates, the different rarities, chase cards, the different sets that were released, the different types of products that were released, and hopefully at the end of the video you'll have a really good understanding of all the different types of Attack on Titan cards that you can collect in Weiss Schwarz. So, starting it off with Attack on Titan Volume 1 that was first released in July 2015. So in this volume 1 set there were 3 SP gold hot foil stamped signed cards by the Japanese voice actors and actresses. We had 3 different SPs that you could get in volume 1, Eren, Mikasa and Levi. So they are these 3 cards here. Now the first thing you need to know about Weiss Schwarz and this set is that pull rates are mapped per case. So in this situation, if you bought a case of volume 1 booster boxes, so if you have a sealed case of this set would contain 16 booster boxes. Now in 3 of those booster boxes you will get an SP, and you will actually get all 3 of these SPs in one sealed case. Now, this isn't guaranteed, Bushiroad doesn't state this information, it's just because in the community people open cases and everyone realises that there is a set pull rate. I think the reason they don't announce this is if you were to get an error case that didn't have all 3 SPs, you can't complain and say anything and send it back because they don't actually guarantee it. It's very rare that happens though. It's extremely rare that there is an error case, but for volume 1 you could buy a sealed case and get all 3 of the chase cards from the set, which is cool. It's not very common in Weiss that they do that. They normally have a lot more SPs per set now. So yeah, that was volume 1, and that was the 3 SPs that are gold signed stamped. And as you'll notice, there is another SP on this page, and that is actually from the Attack on Titan Volume 1 trial deck, which was released just before the booster box set came out. Now again, trial decks, they are decks that they make so people can learn to play the game with, very basic decks. You get a shiny SR card on the front. Let me try and zoom in. So this card here is shiny. It's an SR. It's not, I believe this isn't textured, it's just like a foil card, and that comes in every deck at the front. Now they actually do put pulls in trial decks as well. It obviously helps sell more product in terms of trial decks, and the pulls in the trial decks, again, they are mapped as well. So a case of trial decks, a sealed case of trial decks, contains 8 sealed display cases of trial decks inside, which contains 6 trial decks inside them. So in total, in a display case, there's 48 trial decks. Now, the pull rates for an SP in a trial deck in this situation for this set is 1 in 24 decks. So in that sealed case, you would get 2 SPs, and in this case there's only 1 SP you can get, so you would get 2 of these SPs. There's also other cards as well, so similar to sort of how booster boxes work, the trial decks, you wouldn't get one of the display cases in the trial decks with 2 SPs. The SPs will be in separate display cases within that case. So 2 of the 8 display cases will have an SP in. The rest of the display cases will have 1 deck inside that has a triple rare. I don't know if I've got the tab open, but let me just turn triple rares on here so you can see some of them. Now triple rares are kind of the next step down from an SP in terms of rarity. They are they're textured, foiled, they just don't have the gold stamp on them. Quite often you'll find triple rares in the main booster box set to be horizontal like this, which isn't for everyone, but they're still really nice to pull, and I mean, as you can see, they're not that valuable. However, the triple rares in the trial decks, you'll see that some of these have a higher price, and that is because these can only be pulled in the trial decks. So in total, obviously, you'll have about 6 triple rare pulls in the trial deck case and 2 SP pulls. Sometimes you can get triple rares and SPs in the same display case of 6 decks. I think they switch it up just to help with sort of dead sealed display cases. If people pulled the SP, potentially they can sell on the remaining sealed display cases, knowing that there's not an SP in there. So yeah, in this case, a good way to identify if a card came from a trial deck is the card number will have a T in it. Main set cards won't have that. As you see, this is a triple rare. S35-E0 is the card number. Anything from a trial deck, you'll notice there will be a T in the card number. Same with the SP, so the extra SP we had, let me just turn triple rares back off. The extra SP here, we've got TE in the card number, but not on these ones. So these cards as well are exclusive to the trial decks. Like, there's no other way to pull these. They don't come in the main booster box set. The only way to obtain them is through trial decks. Now, 2 years later, we had Attack on Titan Volume 2 release. This is still the old style booster boxes where they're square and tall. This set actually had 7 different types of SPs. Now, if we head over here, unfortunately for some reason TCG Player is missing loads of images. Let me just refresh in case it comes back. No, so yeah, for some reason we've only got this one here. Now, these SPs were quite different because the signature colours were different depending on each card. But yeah, we had 7 different SPs, and again, same situation. Pull rates were maps. However, you didn't get 7 SPs per sealed booster box case. In this case, it was the same pull rate. You got 3 SPs per sealed case. However, obviously, you'd need to open more than that if you wanted to get every single SP. So that was Volume 2. There wasn't a trial deck in Volume 2. It was just a booster box only. And actually, when this came out, Volume 1, I believe, got a reprint. So at this point, Volume 1 had been printed twice and Volume 2 had just come out. Now, fast forward to last year, a massive 5-year jump, and we got Attack on Titan Final Season. Now, this is using a different style booster box. So I believe in 2022, English changed and we got this updated style booster box that this was typically what the Japanese booster boxes were like. And the change from this was you would get 18 booster boxes per case, and in a booster box you would get, I believe it was 18, maybe it will say here, no, sorry, yeah, 16 booster packs per booster box, whereas the old style you'd get 20 booster packs. Pull rates were very similar though. The change, I believe, was more for players. I think you get an extra card per pack, or there's an extra slot that can be a random card. But in terms of like the chase cards, the signed SPs and the cards that you want to pull, you're kind of unaffected in that sense if you were buying a sealed case. So yeah, we had signed cards again, obviously, in this set. However, they were slightly different. We actually had SSPs instead of SPs, and the pull rates on SSPs were just one SSP per booster case. So they were much harder to pull, And yeah, we've got these 5 SPs again signed by the voice actors. You'll notice that some of the signatures are different colours on these as well. And there was also another rarity that was added. So we had Titan rares. Obviously 1 SP per booster case is quite harsh. So they added an exclusive sort of Attack on Titan rarity. And the pull rates for the Titan rares, the TTRs, you would get either 3 TTRs in a booster box case, or you would get 2 TTRs and the SEC card, which is a SEC is a secret rare, and we only had 1 secret rare in Attack on Titan final season, and it was this one here. Quite often the SEC cards can be signed, so it's quite unusual to see this not signed. If this was signed, I think it would have demanded a much higher price. So in the whole case, you had 4 potential pulls, including the 1 SP and 3 of these cards here. Again, these are like nice texture, nice foil on them, but obviously they just don't have the signed signature. And something to note is that when final season came out, they actually went back and reprinted Volume 1 again, and they reprinted Volume 2. Again, these were kind of like for like reprints. Someone did notice though that from the older sets, and perhaps Volume 1 2 prints that it had, there was actually a slight change in texture on the, if I go back to them, so on these SPs, and I believe on the Volume 2 SPs, the texture pattern was very slightly different. There was like diamonds on them, and then they've been removed on the reprint. I believe people were trying to speak to BGS and get them to identify the difference. But yeah, it was supposed to be a like-for-like reprint. I guess it just comes down to production changes. Like, I mean, Volume 1 came out in 2015. That's like 8 years ago. So it makes perfect sense that they would struggle to perhaps completely print it like for like. And something else to note is that the Attack on Titan Volume 1 trial deck to this day has never been reprinted. This deck has never seen a reprint. It's quite uncommon for Weiss to reprint trial decks. And quite often in some sets the chase card ends up in the trial deck. The most valuable card can end up in here. It normally just depends on the character and the artwork of the card. But I mean, as you could see, the price isn't that different, which is quite surprising to me. These have had 3 reprints, whereas this has never been reprinted. So even at this price, at $300 in comparison to the others, I think it's extremely cheap given how rare it actually is. And being a trial deck card from back then, it's also very hard to grade. But when final season came out, there was actually a trial deck that they released for final season as well, and there were 2 SPs that you could pull in this. And again, classic pull rates are mapped. Sealed case of trial decks is 48 decks. If you bought a sealed case, you would get 2 SPs, and there would be some triple rares in there as well that are exclusive, that can only come out the trial deck. So here were the SPs, and if you know Attack on Titan, you know they're probably some of the weakest characters to perhaps have an SP. Gabby being extremely disliked given the anime, and yeah, they're just it was unfortunate, but you know, sometimes I think sometimes it's good that they don't always put the chase card in trial decks, and sometimes the better cards are in the booster box. It's nice just to switch things up a bit. So as you can tell, they don't hold much value. However, I don't know if many people did order the set because of the cards that were revealed inside it. So I think some people, like I know myself, like I was intending to get maybe a display case of 6 trial decks and just trying my luck when Attack on Titan Final Season was coming out, but in this case, when I saw these cards revealed, I'd rather just buy the booster boxes, because the pulls in the booster boxes to me were much nicer. So these might be underprinted, because another thing to note is that Weiss is print to pre-order. You have to order months in advance. So if stores run out when the set's released, if it sells really well and stores run out, then that product's gone and prices will start to climb. However, in this case with Attack on Titan Final Season, prices stayed low for a long time, and just because of the popularity of Attack on Titan, I believe many stores ordered a lot of this. The same thing happened with the reprints. As they reprinted the first 2 seasons when this came out, a lot of stores and people ordered Attack on Titan Volume 1 and Volume 2 reprints, which is why these SPs are just so cheap. And I think it's only about now that the supply is slowly running out. Like, you can sometimes see cases secondhand for sale, like under recommended retail price, but that is slowly slowing down. So sorry, this card here, that is the main sets covered. That's all that's been released so far. Obviously there are more Attack on Titan seasons, whether that's part 1, part 2 in a film, Final Season Part 8, there's more anime to come out, so I personally would expect at least one more set, if not maybe a few more. Depends on how long it takes them to finish the series. And here we actually have something that's sort of obviously split from the main set. This is a promo card, also known as a PR card. So if you ever look it up on TCG Player doesn't actually have this official judge card on there, which is why I've got this image here, but it does have other types of promo cards on there. Now this is given to the people that help judge Weiss Schwarz events. There is another judge card, there's another judge card coming out for Attack on Titan sort of Final Season as well. I think sometime this year. So there may be more of these. That is obviously the hot gold stamp on the card, and there's actually one Attack on Titan sort of prize trophy card as well. So if we head over to this tab, so Bushiroad Rumble Online is obviously, as it says, it's an online event, online competition for players, and this was one of the prize cards. So you got a hot stamped congratulations Declaration of War Final Season prize card. That's pretty much the main set. That if you're coming into this set, or if you're interested in collecting Attack on Titan, that's probably the cards that you'll be interested in. That's the information that I believe is important for you to know. Obviously pull rates is really easy to forget. Pull rates, I did make a very simple site not long ago where I can input pull rates and keep track of them going forward. So this is weebschwarz.com, and all you do is just type in the set Attack on Titan Volume 1. Okay, per booster box case we got 3 SPs, and the pull rates per the trial deck cases. And I've got all 3 Attack on Titan, if I can type, Attack on Titan sets on here. So if you ever forget and you just need to refresh on that information, because I know I do, there's so many Weiss Schwarz sets out there, and all the pull rates can vary very slightly. So quite often, even myself, I just come back to here just to refresh and remember what the pull rates are. So hopefully that information helps you. I know when I first came into Weiss Schwarz, it was quite confusing. All the different rarities, maps, pull rates was a completely new thing for me, and I didn't find that out for a while. I actually had bought like some loose booster boxes from stores that I wanted to keep sealed, and it wasn't until months later that I realised pull rates can be mapped. Like if I want to sell this box, someone's going to assume that the pull has already come out of the case, even though I didn't even have the case. So yeah, I hope that helped, and I intend to do more videos. If there's any new Attack on Titan sets, I guess I'm going to have to do a follow-up video or do a part 2 and extend it for the new set. Hopefully there is a new set. I can't see why there wouldn't be. There's more seasons coming out. So yeah, I hope that was useful, and if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to help. So if you got this far, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.